I'm Michelle Eagleton, and you're watching Live in the Hive, the only online magazine show dedicated to theatre across Greater Manchester. Now, you might be watching tonight on the I Love Manchester Facebook page. Hello there if you are. That's the iconic city brand dedicated to community and culture. Or you might be watching on the Live in the Hive Facebook page. Whatever channel you are watching us on, you are definitely in for a treat. We've got some great guests on tonight's show. Yes, who have we got? Well, you can see on our little crawler there, it kind of gives the game away, but we've got two wonderful women, which I'm sure you will recognize tonight. We have got Strictly Come Dancing star Joanne Clifton. She is going to be talking to us about starring as Morticia in the Addams Family, no less. And also you can see there the wonderful X Factor winner and star of the musicals. It is Sam Bailey, and she's going to be telling us about playing the motherly role of Mrs. Potts in Beauty and the Beast. Oh my goodness, it is very, very exciting this evening on the show. Oh, I can't wait to share them with you. But I have been out and about myself this week. Yes, I did get out of the Hive, and I went to see a production I've been dying to see for so long. It should have come to Manchester 2 years ago, but that damn pandemic stopped it from making its way to the Lowry, but it is finally here. What am I talking about? But this Les Mis at the Lowry. Yes, I went to see it on Friday night. It was absolutely fantastic. It is, of course, one of the best musicals ever. I said it here. It does mean that that is true. And yes, it is there until the 23rd of April. So if you can go and see it, I definitely recommend it. The cast are amazing. The musical itself is just so powerful. It's epic. It's moving. I did cry. Yes, might have cried more than once as well. And that's probably because of Jean Valjean, Dean Chisnell, a friend of our show, who absolutely brought the house down a number of times, but especially bringing him home was just a moment. It was great. So try and catch that if you can. You will really not be disappointed. Now, talking of shows that aren't going to disappoint you, well, I've got to say Beauty and the Beast is an absolute Disney classic. Now, it's currently on at the Palace Theatre, and starring as Mrs. Potts, as I said earlier, is the wonderful Sam Bailey. I got to catch up with her a couple of weeks ago just to find out what we can expect. So take a look at this.
I love tea. I'm a tea drinker. Like I'm a motherly figure. If people come around to my house, I'm one of those people that will be like, "Do you want a cup of tea?" Like straight away. "Do you want a cup of tea? Do you want, do you want a bit of cake?" I'm a feeder. So I generally feel that this role was kind of made for me in the sense of there's certain parts in the show where I feel there's a bit of me in there, like, certain elements of when I look at the Beast and I think about my own son, and there is some definite motherly instincts with me in this show that just shine through, and it's just wonderful to be a part of that. And everybody in the audience is so invested because you can almost see people leaning forward, and they're silent when there's certain parts of the show, and it's just beautiful to be up there and doing something and back on stage as well. So
I know, honestly, getting that buzz being back on stage. But
yeah,
it took you a while to get this role. I heard, was it 5 auditions, Sam?
Yeah, so I did 5 auditions. So my wonderful friend Kevin Kennedy told me about the audition. He sort of rang me up and said, they're auditioning for Beauty and the Beast. And I was like, hello, Mrs. Potts. And he went, you should go, get your agent to go, like, to the audition. And I've always wanted to prove myself in this department because I've come off of a show called The X Factor. There are some cases, and I'm not going to name names or anything, but there are some cases where people that have come off shows or come off, like, TV shows where they get cast in something purely because of who they are. I was completely casted in Chicago because I was an ex-prison officer. I get that, but I earned my stripes in that show. I generally believe that, that show kind of made me. And then going into Fat Friends as well, exactly the same thing again. I feel like, I've done really well, and I'm quite good at what I do. but in some cases they just get people to go into that role. But I knew that being in this show was going to be a hard thing for me to do, because it's a show like everybody knows it, everybody knows that character, everybody knows the story of this show. And I always have a bit of a wobble when I first get a show. I always go, I can't do this, I don't know, I can't, I don't think I can do it. But I always manage to push myself through, and I do feel like I found my niche with this show, because it is a show that everybody has been saying, oh my gosh, was Mrs. Potts Sam Bailey? And that to me is a bit of a compliment, because they didn't know I was in it, and they said, oh my God, Mrs. Potts was amazing. They go home, they put the program out, sit there with a cup of tea, and they go, did you know that that was Sam Bailey? And the amount of people that have said this, it makes me feel like I've actually done something, and I've earned my stripes, because I've not been put into a show. You know, they don't need to build this show. They don't need to put names in it, because it sells itself. It's a Disney musical, and it's the most, you know, popular kind of story, I think, from, you know, the musical world, from Disney's perspective. So I knew I had some big shoes to fill, and I fit 5 auditions later, but the Americans didn't know who I was. So when I got cast on my own merit, rather than being cast, oh, she'd be great because she's got loads of followers on Instagram or on Facebook or whatever. So I do feel like I've earned my place, but that it never leaves you that you know, all these people that are with me in this show that have trained for like 4 or 5 years and they're at the top of their game, and I swoop in with no training whatsoever. I always feel like I do have to earn my stripes and try to, you know, prove myself. And I feel like I've done that with this show. I really do.
Oh, I think you did that way before. Honestly, I saw you in Fat Friends. You
I'm
know,
my biggest
in
critic.
Chicago.
I am my biggest critic. So
yeah, well, I think we all are to some extent, but you have got one hell of a voice, and it's surprising that you say that, because you have performed for some amazing people. Look,
yeah.
Michael Bolton is one of your besties, all right?
I know, yeah. On speed dial and everything. I'm the only person in the world that can call him the Voltmeister and get away with it. Or
there
Bolt.
You go. See, absolutely.
Yeah, he's great. He's brilliant. You know.
Oh.
I was at the O2 last night watching Genesis. That's why I've got the Genesis top on. And
wow.
I was at the O2 last night watching Genesis, and the last time I was there, I was supporting Beyonce. It's like crazy. Yeah, I know.
That is crazy. But I've got to say, since hearing you on a podcast with the wonderful Kerry Ellis, who I absolutely adore, and I know you adore her as well.
Amazing.
I'm not as friendly about Beyonce anymore, Sam, because I know you didn't get anywhere near Beyonce,
No,
did you?
I didn't. No, I didn't. So when we went to do the show, there's like where the trucks are, there's a big indoor car park bit at the back where there's loads of trucks, and they put like a porter cabin out there and stuck me in it. So I wasn't even allowed in the inside bit at all. We got like 5 minutes to sound check. I basically just feel like I stole Beyonce's audience for half an hour before she went on. That's pretty much it. And to be honest with you, I don't blame her for it. I just think that she's so big that she's got such an entourage that she's untouchable. Unless, you know, if I'd have been, you know, Rod Stewart, I mean, she'd have invited him up for a cup of tea. But, you know, I'm not. I'm just somebody that won a TV show, and they, you know, I'm down here and they're up there. And to be honest, I wasn't really bothered about meeting her. I collect merch and signed memorabilia. I would have just liked a little framed T-shirt or something, or just a little signed album just to put on my wall, you know, to say I was there and I did that. That would have been great. But, you know, I didn't even get that. But I did get to steal her audience. It was the most amazing experience. And to get her, like, you know, I felt a little bit better because my son was sat there with headphones on. She was like a meter away from him on the B stage, and we were sat watching the show, and my son was literally sat a couple of bits away on his iPad watching something or playing some game on his iPad, and I just watched him look over, and she walked over and he just looked up at her and went and just carried on playing on this game. Love it. No, you know, no care in the world, my boy, as long as he had his ear defenders on and he was just sat there and playing on this game. And I just thought, you know what, that's my boy. He's not
Absolutely. Do you know
she
what?
was amazing. She was amazing. I'm glad I got the experience to do it. Not many people can say they supported Beyonce at the O2. So yeah, it was a great night. It's on. There's loads of clips of it on YouTube, which is great. So there's proof that I did do it.
Absolutely. And I've got to say, he'd take his ear defenders off for Mummy.
He does, yeah. He does like me. Well, he wouldn't if it was too loud because he's autistic. But he does love it when Mummy sings to him. Like, you know, he's 13 this year, bless him, and we're still fighting to get him into a special school, which is what I've been doing whilst I've been doing this show. I've been fighting the government with an EHCP, trying to get he's not been in school since July. He got diagnosed with autism in 2020 during lockdown, which I paid for privately because the system is so massively broken. So I've been going through all of that whilst being in this show, and I finally feel like hopefully I should get some good news very soon. But you know, he's happy. He's such a wonderful little boy. My kids have been amazing, you know, being on tour, being in a musical. I'm normally doing weeklies, so I'm normally like, you know, somewhere for a week and then I move to somewhere else. But this has been a lot harder because I've been away at places for like, I'm in Manchester for 10 weeks and I only get Mondays off. So I go home on a Sunday night and I'm back up on Tuesday. So it's full on. It's really full on. But
thank God FaceTime.
Yeah, I wouldn't do this job if it wasn't for that. I wouldn't be able to do it. When we was in Edinburgh, I didn't come home for 6 weeks, and it was tough. It was really tough, and the kids come up and stay with me. But because the city is so busy, Tommy lasted 3 days, and he was bubbling, and he needed to go home. So yeah, it is tough being away, but I love being in this show. You know, I wake up every morning and think to myself, I'm in a Disney musical playing such an iconic role, and for when people come and see this show, you'll see exactly what I see, but from a different view. I'm totally in awe of everybody that's on that stage. We have an amazing cast and an amazing crew on this show, and it's just such a great opportunity to be a part of that. And I've got Kevin Kennedy to thank for that, good old Curly Watts. It's his fault.
I know. It's like,
yeah.
You know all the famous people. I want to know. I want to be in your contacts book.
Yeah, people that ask me, they say to me, "Who's the most famous person you've got in your contacts?" And I'm like, I don't know, Sharon Osbourne, Lewis Hamilton. Oh God, I've got quite a few, but I never ring them. I never speak to them. I never just ring them up and go, "Hello, mate, fancy a coffee or anything?" I just don't. I'm just a down to earth bird that went on the X Factor to try and get an extension on my house and a new kitchen, and it worked. So happy days.
You smashed it. You absolutely smashed it. Oh, do you know what? You'd be great on that Michael McIntyre show. You know where he says "send to all" and you've got to send the text.
They did that with Sharon, and I got a text of Sharon when she was on the show. It was something to do with plastic surgery or something. I've got a voucher for plastic surgery and I can't use it, and I was wondering if you wanted it. And I completely fell for it. And I went, I'm just about to go into a musical. And I don't think that musical, I think I was going into, so before Mrs. Potts came about, I was supposed to be doing Little Women, but obviously the lockdown happened. So I don't think anyone from that era of Little Women would look good with plastic surgery or Botox. So I had to say to her, I'm going into a musical, which, you know, wouldn't look good with me having any surgery or anything like that done. But thank you so much. I hope you're good.
We have got more from Sam Bailey coming up a little bit later on in the show. Do you know what as well? She's got a bar just like our Hive, only it can fit 14 in her bar, and I think we can probably fit about 6. So yeah, double the size. But she also built a bar in lockdown. So I'd like to think that me and Sam Bailey have got something in common, although not the singing voices. I wish I did have that. But yes, I'll be talking to her a little bit later on. We're going to be sharing some stories about my time in Beauty and the Beast. You definitely want to find out about that, and also some news on her rock album. Is it gonna happen? We'll have to wait and see. And of course, at the end of the show, as you can see just on our little crawler there, we have got Shaq Taylor, who is playing the Beast in Beauty and the Beast. He's going to be playing us out the show with a stunning performance of If I Can't Love Her. Oh, you are gonna Love that one. Now let's get a little bit dark and a little bit sophisticated because, yes, if I said diddle-da, diddle-da, oh, you definitely know what I'm on about. It is, of course, the Addams Family, and starring in the musical version right now on tour is the wonderful Joanne Clifton. Oh, she is absolutely hilarious. She's talented and she's so excited about starring as Morticia, her current role. So, yes, I had a bit of a chat with her just to find out all the goss and also why she really loves pies. Take a look.
I love Morticia so much. Like you, I've watched the TV programs, I've watched the films ever since I was a kid. When I got the audition through, I was like, oh my gosh, I need this role. Even though she's different to me, it'll be a challenge, and I just want to be this iconic woman. So I actually dressed as her for the audition, which is it's a big no-no really in theatre. But I was like, well, I am desperate, so I am going to go dressed as her.
You did the full-on kind of, the dark look, the black clothes. I spied already your nails. You didn't go as far as the nails. I know these are on for the production.
No, I don't think I had black nails then. But I did put on like pale makeup. I put on like black blusher, red lip, and I straightened my hair. A lot of people think because I'm naturally blonde and on Strictly I was blonde. A lot of people think that I dyed my hair for this role, but I didn't. I just dyed it because of lockdown. I was bored. And then I got the audition and I was like, great, because I've already got dark hair. It's like the universe is telling me that I was supposed to dye my hair. And then I straightened it, middle parting, and I went in as Morticia.
And what was their reaction like when you walked in the room? Were they like, oh my God, this girl is crazy? Or were they like, this is very cool?
Well, I did say to the director who was there auditioning me, I said, I'm so sorry that I've come dressed as Morticia in this long black dress and everything. I know that you're not supposed to because it makes you look desperate. But I am desperate. I really want to play her. And apparently he's since told me that helped me get the role.
Oh, that is brilliant. And now that you've got the part of Morticia, is it everything that you dreamed it would be?
It's so wonderful because at the beginning I thought, oh, it's going to be quite a challenge because, how do I make her interesting if she's just stood there with arms folded and quite like stern all the time, straight face and stuff. So I need to make her interesting. So I found little moments where she can kind of break out of this with the arms folded. And it's all about finding them little moments, reacting off the Gomez, who's incredible, by the way. And then, like in Act 2, there's a song called Death is Just Around the Corner, which is my favourite song to do in the show. And actually, Morticia can break out completely and becomes a big Broadway star, jazz hands and everything. I can smile because the rest of the show, I can't really smile. And absolutely love it. And then again, as well, she's also a dancer as well. Like she does a big tango at the end.
Yeah, I know. There's like this epic tango number, and that's right up your street because that's where we were first introduced to you because, ballroom dancer extraordinaire, winning world championships, going on Strictly, holding the glitter ball in 2016. Come on. So it's nice to kind of have that element within it because you get the chance to dance, act and sing, which for you've got a great love of musicals, haven't you?
Absolutely. Like it's a childhood dream of mine to be in the musicals. That's why kind of the reason I left Strictly as well after we managed to win it. Thank you anyone who voted. I was just like, well, now's the perfect time to follow my childhood dream. But yeah, I thought that my dancing career after Strictly was like done, closed book, chapter closed, finished, let's do singing and acting. But then I got roles like Flash dance, so I did that, and then I said to me, right, that's my dancing career done, we're closing the book. And then I got the Rocky Horror Show. There was just a bit of a time warp in there, so I was like, yeah, that's it, dancing's done, now we're here and I've got a tango. So I was like, oh, okay. But it's kind of nice to have just a little bit of dancing in it because I'm really like loving just singing and acting, especially with, I don't know whether you know, but I have osteoarthritis and stuff. So
Yes.
I'm really loving the singing and acting part of it. But it is nice to just have that little tango at the end there in Act 2.
I know, because I've heard about that. You really are struggling at the moment, aren't you? And that must have been difficult to get diagnosed with that, especially when that has been your career. And we would have never noticed that, you had all that going on,
Yeah, well, in the Strictly final, actually, probably no one would have noticed anyway. But if anyone did go back and watch it after the jive, I am limping up the stairs to Claudia's area. Like, I'm really, really struggling that day, honestly. But yeah, it was a bit of a shock to be diagnosed with it, because I was, what, at the time, 31, I want to say. And there's this whole stigma about arthritis that it's just for old people. It's definitely not. The more I've researched into it and worked with different companies and different charities, I've learned that, like, it can affect at any age. There's even 2-year-olds that have it. And the message that I want to get out there is just like, one, don't be embarrassed or ashamed about it. The more you embrace it and are open about it, the more people can help you. And two, your careers, as in dancing and performing, are not over. I can't tell you how many mothers I had over lockdown, because I was teaching on Zoom. I was teaching some dance workshops, and I got lots of messages from mothers saying, oh, my daughter thinks her dance career is over and finished because she's been diagnosed with osteoarthritis. I'm talking like 9-year-olds. And I was saying, well, it's definitely not. It's just about listening to the doctor, being open about it, being like, oh, yeah, I have got osteoarthritis. So that way the choreographer knows. And that way, if anything gives you any pain, they'll just adjust it for you. And I'm living proof that you can carry on with your dancing and your performing career.
It is about being open, though, isn't it? I think when we have the conversations and people like yourself, who are those young girls' role models, they're like, oh my gosh, well, look what Joanne's doing, And also, there is that transfer of, you're a performer. You're not just a dancer, you're a performer. And I think people forget, kind of, you've got so many other skills. And it has been great to see you do that, like Thoroughly Modern Millie, as you said, the Rocky Horror Show. I interviewed your former partner, Araya Duber, a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, lovely.
He was starring in the Rocky Horror Show as Brad Majors. Did he come to you for any advice when he got that role? Or did he go, hey, guess what I'm in, Joanne?
He phoned me because he thought, he didn't know who else was in the cast at that point. So he was thinking, oh, maybe they're bringing me back and we'd be in it together, which I thought would have been amazing. Yeah. But no, they didn't do that. But he rang me all excited when he got offered the role. And then it was around the time his rehearsals were starting, or around the time of we did the hit list together. And so on the train and stuff like that, I brought the script because he hadn't yet got the script or something. So I brought my old script and gave him, and we did a few scenes together and stuff.
That's ace, because you played Janet, he was playing Brad. It's like, I think there is a lot of fate in your life, Joanne, because again, let's go back to the current role. When you were in Strictly, I remember you actually dancing as Morticia with Scott Mills as Uncle Fester. So there's something aligning with the stars.
And it was kind of a message, I think, because that's the week we went out. It was like somebody was going, all right, stop the dancing now. Yeah, that's the role you meant to do. Stop, and we're going to kick you out of the competition. But I stayed for another 2 years. But still, I still think it was a sign.
That is absolutely crazy. Now, when you're going out on that stage, it's like, yeah, I kind of did this a few years ago, but now look what's happened and the transfer. But you're not just stopping in this, because you are doing the run. You're coming to us, and I cannot wait in April, the 19th to the 23rd. Can't wait to get you here in Manchester. But you're also going to be pairing up with your lovely brother, Kevin, aren't you? You're doing a bit of the Burn the Floor tour in summer after this finishes.
Yes, I mean, that is going to be a challenge because, as we said before, I haven't been dancing full on since Strictly. Since Flashdance, really. And we're doing Burn the Floor. It's a reunion tour. So it's like people who've gone on to do Strictly or Dancing with the Stars or the most famous Burn the Floor dancers are all coming back. And I think it's like a 10-day tour, just one-nighters in different venues. We're coming to the West End as well. And it's going to be the most famous numbers from the past Burn the Floor shows. And I did it. I did it. When did I do Burn the Floor? 14, I want to say, and I danced with Aliash, and we were like the ballroom couple, because there's lots of Latin couples, and then there's the one ballroom couple who does like the waltz and stuff like that. So I'm imagining, I'm not confirming that, I'm imagining I'll probably dance again with Aliash, but who knows? Maybe not.
Oh, it's just going to be great to get everybody back together again, won't it? It'll be absolutely fantastic. And a little bird as well told me that your dad has been busy writing, and it was due to you that he actually started writing his novel. And I love the title, Dancing Scarecrow. It just seems so apt.
Oh, it's so good. I've actually got it here. Hang on.
No way.
There it is.
Oh, you guys are hugely talented. You've got yourself, and good old Keith, your dad, has got the Dancing Scarecrow.
He's got dancing scarecrow. So what happened was, I was teaching throughout lockdown, as I said before, and I felt like, oh, what about the little one, the little kids? Like, and they won't be able to concentrate on dancing for a whole hour or 45 minutes. So what we'll do is, I rang Dad. I said, I'll teach him a dance, and then you read him a story. And he's like, well, what story? And I was like, any story. So he actually wrote original stories through lockdown, and to do with the kind of dances as well that I was doing. Like, I was doing a farmyard dance, so he wrote Mrs. Chicken, or things like that, you know. And then the other way around, like he'd have an idea for a little story, and then I'd do a dance to it. And my boyfriend actually wrote some original little nursery rhyme songs that I could make it up to. So it was all a big family affair. And then Dad was like, well, they've gone down so well. And I was like, yeah, you should write a book. And there it is, in Waterstones.
Oh, well, I hope you got a dedication on the front page. Have you, is it dedicated to you?
Yeah, well, this one is mine, and he's written a lovely thing in pen for me. But there is a dedication. I dedicate this book to my family, Judy, Kevin, and Joanne, who are the most talented, inspiring, and down-to-earth people I know. Thank you for loving me.
Oh, that is, oh my gosh, I'm going to get really emotional. I'm going to have to change the subject and bring, some humor into it now before I absolutely cry. I have looked at your profile on social media, and what made me giggle, Joanne, was when you said you love pies.
I do. I do.
I would never have thought that you would love pies, Joanne.
I love pies and mash. Like Pie Minister for me. Honestly, I mean, we're having a discussion. I'm not getting married, by the way, but we were just, just chatting with my boyfriend. I was like, if we ever got married, like, should we try and get our wedding sponsored by either Brewdog, because we love the wings and the beer and Brewdog, or Pie Minister? So we're having that discussion.
That is brilliant. Any favourite pie then? Is there a particular pie that you go, oh, that's having it tonight?
What's the one with it? I love it with the cheese, Stilton, and is it like steak?
Ooh,
and it's like in Prime Minister, the one with the cheese. It's like, oh, I love it. And I do love a chicken
like
mushroom.
A bit of cheese pie, even a bit of cheese sauce on it with some mash.
Yeah,
that's comfort food.
Yeah,
that's really, really good. Oh, you're making me hungry now. Final question I'm going to ask you. What jigsaw have you got on tour at the moment? Because I know you love your jigsaws, and I'm wondering, is it Addams Family kind of themed? Is it a dark one, or is it maybe a baked beans one that's really super hard to
No, but I've done that. I have done that, and I've done the Brussels sprouts one. Yeah, I've done the beans and the Brussels sprouts. But the one I've got going this week, it's not that exciting, and it's quite easy. It's a 500-piece one of a street in France.
Oh, very chic. Actually, I think that it relates to Morticia. I think she would agree.
There you go.
That is, stylish and sophisticated.
Yes, that's very true. Very true.
Oh, she loves a good jigsaw, does our Joanne Clifton. And she also loves a good pie, Stilton and steak, no less. And what a genius idea about serving pies at her wedding. If that happens, Joanne, can I have an invite? Yeah, of course. Oh, absolutely. Thank you very much. And I'm also inspired by her nails as well. So next week you might see these change to black just in honor of Morticia. Right, let's get on with the rest of the show though. I promise you we have got more with Sam Bailey, and I could have talked to Sam for absolutely hours. But firstly, I have to share with her one of my own Beauty and the Beast stories. So have a listen, see what you think.
I've got a story for you, because many moons ago, I used to perform, I was nowhere near as good as you, Sam, at all. But I did Beauty and the Beast, the panto version.
Oh, wow, I've done the panto version. It's a bit different, isn't it?
Well, in my version, Sam, right, Beauty's best friend was a dog. I was the dog.
Wow, that's a plot twist. If ever I saw one.
I came out to Who Let the Dogs Out?
Wow. Wow. And where was this? And is there going to be a remake? Because I feel like I need to see this. Is there any footage of this?
We went all the way around Scotland and I shared with Beauty. And can you imagine? So, like, she gets up in the morning. She's got all, like, the gorgeous makeup that she's putting on. And there's me with still the black nose around me for foundation. And I'm using those, you know, those pore strips to try and get the black out every day.
Oh no.
How's the costume with you though as Mrs. Potts? Is it easy to maneuver in?
It's a heavy costume and there's some Disney magic involved in my costume, so can't give too much away. And for anybody that's watching the show, there is nothing holding my arm up. I literally have definition in my left arm because I have to hold it up. So yeah, we have a wonderful physio on this show that helps us do that and be able to do that. The costumes are fantastic in the show. And when you come and see it, you'll see that it's literally the amount of detail that's gone into the costumes is insane. Belle's famous costume. No one is allowed to even breathe near that costume because it is worth so much money and so delicate that you're not even allowed near it, like, honestly. And when she comes out and when you see the show and she comes out in that dress, I'm literally on stage just at the side and I can hear the gasps of when she comes out, and it's just stunning. It's absolutely stunning, and I get to appreciate that every single night. And that moment, you know, with the famous ballroom dance and the waltz and everything, and it's a real moment. It's one of my favorite moments in the show because everybody knows that moment, and it's just beautiful to be a part of that on that stage that at that time, singing that song. And there was one particular night when I was singing at the end, and I went, Beauty, and this little girl in the audience went, the Beast, and then everyone applauded this little girl. And then because they'd applauded her, that they had no applause left for me, so I just walked off in silence. I went, she stole my thunder. The little girl stole my thunder. But it was so cute, and I tried so hard not to react to this little girl because they just get so invested. There's like a sea of yellow dresses. Sometimes we get like little kids from the Beast outfit, grown-ups in the Belle and Beast outfit. This has been a thing, like hen nights where people have gone that are massive fans of Disney. We've had proposals where people have actually proposed in the theatre or on the way in. It's just been, the show is about love, unconditional love, and it's just beautiful to see that. And people need that at the moment. You know, 100%. They really do need that, 100%. And we do an amazing relaxed performance as an advocate for, you know, autism and special needs. We have a relaxed performance that we do where children and adults of all ages can come along to a show. They don't have to worry about having to be quiet. You can make as much noise, you can move around. And there's breakout rooms that are for when there's, you know, if somebody's having a bit of a meltdown, it's a bit too much, the pyros get taken down, the lights are up slightly, the volume's down. It's the same show, but it's different circumstances.
You also made an impact on the show in a different way with your daughter too, because, you know, you told Disney that we need to see a representation of a princess character that wears glasses. And
so when we was in rehearsals, this is early stage rehearsals, learning the show, I got quite choked up, and Matt West, who's the director of the show, and he's, you know, quite high up in that in the machine of Disney, I kind of said to him, look, I said, if you go back and speak to the powers that be, and I got really choked up when I said it. I said, can you ask them to do a Disney princess or design one or make a film with a Disney princess that wears glasses? I said, because, and then I went, my daughter, he doesn't think she's a princess, because I get it every time from Miley, like, I'm not a princess because I wear glasses. But there are so many children that don't think they're a princess because they wear glasses. And I told him about it on the Friday, and we came back in on the Monday, and he came up to me. He said, can I have a word? And he came up and he started wobbling in his voice, and he said, I couldn't stop thinking about what you said. He said, and I've spoken to the bosses and Tom Schumacher, and Belle's going to open the show wearing glasses, and every time she opens a book to read, she's going to be wearing glasses. And I was like, and then he was crying, and Miley came to see the show. And that first scene where she goes, da, 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 she's on the bridge and she's got this book and she's got her glasses on. And after the show, I went to stage door because they weren't allowed to come into the theatre because of COVID. And she went, Mummy, I'm a princess. Belle wears glasses. And the amount of people that have actually said and commented on it, my daughter's said that Belle wears glasses in this and that she's now a princess. She can see that she's a princess. And it really has been a game changer for a lot of families that struggle with that, you know, with children that wear glasses and think that they're not a princess because they wear glasses. Well, now 21st century Belle.
Woohoo! I think that is
amazing.
Blooming brilliant, Sam. Absolutely. I cannot wait to see her put her glasses on, you rock it as Mrs. Potts, and get arm ache from doing the whole kind of arms.
I've got a Gaston arm and a bingo wing. That's it. So I've literally got one arm that's got a little bit of muscle and definition in it, and I could be a cover for Gaston, just one side of me though, and then this one is my flabby bingo wing that doesn't get much exercise, so I'm very disproportionate when it comes to my muscles, so it does look a bit weird when I take my top off. I've got one massive muscle and then a flappy bingo wing on the other side, so
hey, one's better than none.
I know, exactly. I can swim really well with this one, and I can punch someone's lights out with this arm. It's great, works really well. But it's definitely an amazing show, and anybody that comes to see it, they will not be disappointed. We have got the most amazing cast in this show. It's been perfectly cast. There's some real standout moments, and people always leave the theatre with a massive beaming smile on their face because they've just witnessed some pure genius. So fair play to Disney, fair play to the writers, and fair play to everybody that's involved in the show, and I'm very proud to be a part of it.
And how excited are you going to be as well at the end of the tour? It's your West End debut.
I know, yeah, end of Manchester.
I know you've been on a West End stage before, but this is kind of
I know. I know. I'm going to be at the Palladium. The last time I was there, I was with Michael Bolton, the Boltmeister, and then I'm back there again. You know, I've done the Palladium a couple of times now, so I'm very, very lucky. But to be there for such a long run, I've got a lot of friends and a lot of family and a lot of fans that are in London. So for them to be able to come and see the show, and I get to spend some time in my old haunt. You know, like I'm originally a London girl, so it would be nice to get back there. I don't think my husband's going to be too pleased with my accent because living in Leicester, I've kind of got the nothing and summit, and then all of a sudden I'm going to come back sounding like Danny Dyer by the end of the run. So
you'll be like, you'll get back into your pub at home and you'll go, get out of my pub.
I will. I do that every time. I know I do that. I'm old school. I do the Anita Dobson. I'm like, hello, darling. The old Anita Dobson version, Dirty Den. Yeah. So yeah, it's amazing. I'm very, very lucky to be, doing the West End with this show, and it's a definite pinch me moment. As soon as we get to that theatre, I mean, I feel like it's gone really quick. Birmingham has gone like literally flown, and now we're in Manchester as of Monday. I'm moving to Manchester. I've got a lovely apartment there. So I'm really excited. I said to my husband yesterday when we're in London, because I won't have a car. I'm coming down on the train. It's like an hour and 5 minutes to Leicester on the train, to where my hotel is in central London. And I said, I might bring my bike down and do a bit of bike riding. But I'd be the sort of person that would probably get hit by car. So it's probably, I don't know if it's a good idea with me riding.
No, don't bring it now. Don't jinx yourself. Look, before you go, I need to ask you about your rock album. Is that going to happen? I got so excited hearing that you might be doing this rock album. And I'm like, please say it's going to materialize.
I can neither confirm or deny that this will be happening.
Oh, I know, you can't. You can't.
No.
That wouldn't be right, would it?
Lots happening in London. So very excited.
You are absolutely smashing it. And you know what? It
Thank
couldn't
you.
happen to a nicer person.
I loved chatting to her, and of course she is in Beauty and the Beast at the Palace Theatre right now, so go and take a look. Now, what have we got on next week's show? Well, we have got more amazing guests. We are of course talking about theatre across Greater Manchester, and I will also be getting you ready for the Olivier Awards, which are going to be taking place next Sunday night. But you can follow us throughout the week. We're on socials. We're on at Live in the Hive 21 on Instagram and Twitter. And if you want to know what's going on in our city of Manchester, then you know where to go. Go to the I Love Manchester website, because it'll tell you where to go, where to eat, where to drink, all that's going on in our community as well. As I say, though, I shall see you next Sunday at 8 o'clock. But I'm going to leave you now with a stunning performance by Shaq Taylor, who is the Beast in Beauty and the Beast. And he is performing for us If I Can't Love Her. Enjoy. I'll see you next week.
Long ago I should have seen all the things I could have been. Careless and unthinking, I moved on.